Washington Grown is brought to you by the potato farmers of Washington. Learn why Washington is home to the world's most productive potato fields and farmers by visiting potatoes.com. Also brought to you by the Washington State Department of Agriculture's Specialty Crop Block Grant Program and the Washington Hospitality Association.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Goranson and welcome to Washington Grown. Washington farmers supply their fruits and veggies to all the top restaurants in the state and around the world. In Tom Douglas's case, well, his farm right here in Prosser is run by his wife Jackie, and in this episode, Jackie's going to give us a tour. Jackie will show us Prosser Farm and how she's able to grow produce specifically for her husband's restaurants.
Fresh. It's fresh.
It is
Yeah.
fresh.
It's right from here to right to there.
Then we'll be in the kitchen with Tom, cooking with some tasty green beans straight from their farm.
If you don't start with a good bean, the rest is unnecessary.
And we'll meet Audra Mulkern to talk to her about the Female Farmer Project and how she's documenting and celebrating women in agriculture.
I want people to see the true beauty of what they're doing and how they're bringing important change to the food system.
All that and much more today on Washington Grown.
Good job!
Oh, look at those beautiful carrots.
You gotta go fast. Hot diggity.
How good is that one?
Across from the magnificent Paramount Theater in downtown Seattle sits the Carlile Room, a relaxed restaurant that is grooving to a late 60s, early 70s vibe. The Carlile Room is the most recent opening by chef and restaurateur Tom Douglas, who was influenced by musicians such as local artist Brandi Carlile.
And we were talking one night I just always wanted, she loves Jameson whiskey, and I wanted to name a bar after her. It turned out that we named the whole restaurant after her, so the Carlile Room.
That is
and, being across from Seattle's best theater, the Paramount Theater.
This is quite the location.
Where she plays quite often. It's
awesome.
Super fun.
But the ambiance isn't the only thing that makes the Carlile Room unique. The restaurant's progressive menu makes vegetables the centerpiece of its dishes.
Chef Desi, who's the kind of the genius behind the Carlile, he takes veggies and makes them more important.
Yeah.
And I often say to my chefs, if you get a perfect product, really what you need to do is get the heck out of the way and let it shine, right?
You can always get your vegetables here. That's what's great.
Full of flavor. My mouth was popping. I said to Gary, while I'm looking at my phone, don't let anybody touch my dish. Smack their hand.
Tom uses fresh produce from local growers, including his own family farm, which his wife Jackie runs.
Well, we try to grow everything. It's just really a treat to be in the middle of all of this. I used to think in my mind, wow, we have great salmon, we have great crab, but really we have great everything from the wine we're drinking to the asparagus to the potatoes.
Coming up, we'll visit Tom and Jackie's farm in Prosser, and then later on, Tom will be showing me how to make dry fried green beans.
Those are delicious.
Delicious.
They are.
Exactly.
We're in central Washington visiting Prosser Farm, where farmer-in-chief Jackie Cross grows a multitude of crops for her husband Tom Douglas's restaurants, including the Carlile Room. Truly a farm-to-table operation, Jackie grows her produce specifically for the needs of the restaurant chefs. We're at your beautiful farm, and green beans and all sorts of other vegetables that Tom uses in his restaurants.
In all the restaurants, yeah. I work closely with the chefs, and we decide at the end of the year what seeds to grow and what kind of varieties that they want.
That's kind of cool that the chefs can kind of say, I'm really thinking about this.
No, it's really fun.
Yeah.
And if they come across something like, oh, I had this was terrific, and stuff like that, I can do that.
What made you want to start Prosser Farm?
It certainly didn't start out to be a farm.
Really?
We bought property over here just as a vacation property, and then put in a couple tomatoes, and I had a couple extra, and pretty soon there you go.
How much of the vegetables and fruits and all that that the restaurants use come from here?
Well, everything I grow goes to the restaurant.
Yeah.
So we have a refrigerated truck that we drive over 2 times a week and
Yeah.
take the vegetables over.
That's great. So it's fresh.
It's fresh.
It is
Yeah.
fresh.
It's right from here to right to there. I can't get much fresher than what we're doing. We do work with other small farmers around and stuff too, the restaurant group. So we're trying to support across the board.
I asked Jackie to give me a tour of her small but mighty operation. We started off where it all begins, in the greenhouses.
These are our 2 small greenhouses. We start in February with starts. And everything we grow is from seed. And they start in here. As soon as they get big enough and it warms up enough outside, we move them into the cold frames where
and that's
which is sort of their teenager years.
Right.
And they'll stay out here for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But it gets them more acclimatized to being outside, so it makes the transplant
Protects them
go
at
better.
night.
And then from there, they'll go directly into the field.
Jackie shows me her different produce, including green beans, peppers, and tomatoes, and I learned what makes a perfect pick.
When we pick for the restaurant, we pick them at about this stage, which is probably a day, or if you were going to eat them right tonight, you would want them to go for probably for another day.
Okay.
But since we're going to wait and ship these in a day and take them over to the restaurant,
Just right.
they'll be just perfect. These are what we call like a grilling pepper.
Okay.
So these just will get put onto a hot grill or onto a skillet and just melted down just a little bit and
Are
then
they
served like that.
sweet or spicy?
These ones,
or-
the shishitos are, well, try one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. These ones are not hot.
Before saying goodbye, we stopped to see some friends.
Oh,
It's like my food
Looks
is
like-
down there.
you picked me up and the corn's on the ground.
I think a lot of people don't realize that the food that they are eating is grown by men and women, right? You know, I think a lot of people think farmers, they automatically think of a man, but that's not true, is
It's not,
it?
the statistics don't bear that out
Yeah.
anymore. There's more and more female farmers. There's a certain beauty in the hands-on of growing vegetables and stuff. It's very rewarding. You see something through from seed in the greenhouse in February to on the plate in the restaurant in August and September. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few jobs where you get to that whole line, you know, beginning to end and stuff. So it's very satisfying that way, I think.
We are back at the Carlile Room, the groovy, laid-back restaurant owned by restaurateur Tom Douglas. The decor and atmosphere are bursting with colorful and musical moods. The restaurant's inspiration sparked from a large mural of Bob Dylan that Tom came across. And soon, the eatery opened and was named after local singer Brandi Carlile.
You know, if you take a shot all the way to the back, you'll see a big Bob Dylan thing
Yeah, he's
back
back
there.
there,
And he was
yep.
kind of the design idea for this restaurant. And then I'm a big fan of a local artist called Brandi Carlile. Turned out that we named the whole restaurant after her, so the Carlile Room. Kind of a 70s rock and roll theme. And I just think it's an exciting place to be.
But the true rock star is the restaurant's unique veggie-centric menu. Here, you will find vegetables dominating the dishes with fresh produce that comes from local farms, including Tom's own family farm.
It was full of flavor. My mouth was popping. I said to Gary, while I'm looking at my phone, don't let anybody touch my dish. Smack their hands.
Always get your vegetables here. That's what's great. You know, too many other places you go to and the focus is on the meat, and here it's on the plants.
The food is very veg-centric. You know, throughout the seasons of the year, we support all of our friends that are farmers.
I get to cook with you.
Yeah! We're going to make one of my favorite dishes, which is a spicy wok fried green bean.
Green beans is one of my favorites. I think it's kind of an all-time favorite, too, for a lot of people. So
Right.
we are working with some beautiful green beans from your farm.
True. Classic,
Your classic green bean.
Kentucky Wonders, or whatever you want to call them. And so what I'm going to do today is a little, what we call dry fried string beans, but it's classic Chinese dish.
Is there a way to tell when beans are like fresh or not fresh? Is there
Sure,
a
let me show
special
you.
way? Just go like that.
Those are delicious.
Delicious.
If you don't start with a good bean, the rest is
Right.
unnecessary, right? You just throw it away.
Delicious. Okay.
Ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right.
And this is, you know, a lot of people cook green beans all the time, right? I mean, it's a pretty traditional vegetable that we have, but This is a fun way to kind of spice it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Tom throws our green beans in boiling water to be blanched and then gets our wok ready to cook our aromatics.
Part of searing in a wok is that smoky flavor
Yeah.
that you're giving the oil, right? And we want to wait for that because that's part of the flavor that we're going for, right?
Yeah.
So
don't be afraid of the smoke.
now here we go. We got a little smoke. We're going to drop our shallots in, our cinnamon, our pork, and our orange peel.
Wow.
Okay? And we want just a touch of brown on everything, but we don't want it to be burnt brown.
Okay. Once everything is browned, we throw in our blanched beans.
Okay, now we want to get some of that nice sear on our green beans.
And you
Now
weren't
I'm
kidding
gonna
when you said this
finish-
was fast.
Yeah. I'm going to finish with some chili paste. This has got toasted garlic and chili paste. I'm going
What are we
two-star.
doing? 2-star. Okay, I like that.
And then I made a little mixture of honey and soy sauce.
Okay.
And we don't want to cook that too much, right? We want to just
Right.
glaze that on.
There's the smoke. And just like that, it's time to plate. Smells amazing. And our Washington grown Riesling.
And you know, for spicy food, just nice dry Riesling is really a nice combination for it. So.
Now we get to sample our dish.
See, like they're perfectly cooked. Right? They only took what, a minute in there, a minute and a half. But the extra wok seasoning on there.
I love there's a smokiness to it.
Right, that's from
From
the wok, right?
Salty, kind of sweet.
And the little pork crunchies.
Yes, the pork crunchies, love those. Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I'm gonna eat some more. To get the Carlile Room's recipe for dry fried green beans, head over to wagrown.com. Coming up, we'll meet Audra Mulkern to talk to her about the Female Farmer Project and how she's documenting the rise of women in agriculture.
Green bean, snap bean, string bean, they're all the same thing. Green beans are a type of legume, a family of plants that include peas, beans, soybeans, lentils, and many others. Compared to dry bean varieties like pinto or black beans, green beans are lower in total calories and carbohydrates, but are still packed with beneficial nutrients. Among those are folate, a B vitamin which our body needs to maintain healthy cells and grow new ones. Folate is especially important for women during the early stages of pregnancy, as it helps prevent neural tube defects. Like many other vegetables, green beans are high in phytonutrients, which serve as antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents within our metabolism to help us stay fit and healthy. While many of us are familiar with the traditional green bean casserole served during Thanksgiving, there are healthier alternatives to regularly include green beans in your diet. For a little extra crunch, consider adding fresh green beans to your next salad or soup. Instead of sautéing or deep frying green beans, try steaming or baking them as a way to keep calorie intake low while consuming as many beneficial nutrients as possible.
Fair season in Washington is more than just a time to eat cotton candy and let the kids play at the carnival. It's also a time to celebrate our agricultural roots. At the Grant County Fair in Moses Lake, you'll see a little bit of farming everywhere. Mickey Webb is the fairgrounds director, and he says agriculture is what the fair is all about.
County fairs have always grown out of the agricultural community. A lot of volunteerism of that, usually centered around harvest festivals, things of that is where pretty much the county fairs grew out of.
Learning about agriculture is something that everyone can enjoy. Now, through 4-H and FFA, kids and teens can really get their hands dirty, and sometimes their hard work can really pay off. All right, so Kelly, you're part of 4-H, right?
Yes.
Now, how long have you been doing that?
I've been in 4-H for about 6 years.
6 years, okay. Now, obviously, because you've been in it for 6 years, you must like it, right?
Yes.
Why do you like it so much?
I get to meet new people, learn new things, and enter stuff in the fair.
So, of the things that you entered this year, what is one of the things you're the most proud of?
The watermelon.
Well, grab that guy. Grab that guy. So this is your watermelon.
Oh, that's heavy.
Oh, man, here. Look at that.
Yeah.
So you got first place for this watermelon here. How does it make you feel when you get something like this?
Very happy.
Now, why?
Because I get a lot of money for school.
Derek Sandison has been the Washington Agriculture Director for 2 years, and he believes that fairs play an important role to connecting people to their farmers.
It's getting the consumer together with the farmer, the producer, and be able to understand more about where your food comes from. That's something that's lacking in particularly in our urban areas. There's sort of a disconnect between what you buy in the store and how it's produced. I think it's also important that that we attract if you look around, a lot of young people who maybe aren't in farming, but they get exposed to what this is all about.
Right. Which is very crucial.
Because not every person coming into agriculture has come from an agricultural family. I mean, there's people that are coming in. We're seeing it all over the state where there's new people in agriculture who have never been their family was not involved. They did not grow up on the farm, but still there's a great attraction to them associated with agriculture.
You can find a county fair in just about every corner of Washington State, so the next time you visit one, make sure to enjoy the food, have fun, but more importantly, meet your local farmers.
Coming up, Tomas is hitting the streets with some green bean hummus to see what people think. It's not often that we find other storytellers on our journeys, but Audra Mulkern isn't just any storyteller. Audra documents female farmers throughout the world for the Female Farmer Project.
And that sounds awesome.
It is.
Yeah. It is. First of all, just tell me what it is and then how you got involved.
I was standing in the middle of a farmer's market, and all of a sudden I realized that behind every single table was a woman. And it made me stop and think, is something going on? Is this really special? You know, is my community special to have so many women farmers? And so that's what sent me to the library to start doing research.
And what she didn't find is what started her on this journey.
Women haven't always been documented as being part of the farming community.
Right. I mean, they've always been there. They've been alongside the men working, milking the cows and driving the tractors. Yet somehow they are missing from the agricultural narrative. They're missing from pictures. They were missing, from the library. When I went to go research it, I couldn't find women.
Throughout the generations, there are only a few stories that have been documented about women in agriculture, and Audra set out to make sure their stories and the stories of today's female farmers are not forgotten.
Are you blogging? Are you taking photos? Are you, kind of explain that part?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. It started as a photography project, and it very quickly grew to having to write these stories because it just wasn't enough to see those images and try to understand why or what's going on.
Audra also launched a podcast and gives speeches sharing the story of the world's female farmers. Her work has been exhibited around the world, most recently at the United Nations in New York and at Maison Rouge Gallery in Paris.
So you go around and you get to meet these folks, right?
Yes, I get to meet them in their fields and in their barns and hear their stories. And then I share that with everyone else. And it's really interesting to learn the stories about why women are farming.
Why are they farming?
A lot of different reasons. There's a lot of first-generation women farmers that started in corporate America, like Jackie. What drove her to start farming? Then there's women who were born on the farm. And they inherited that farm, and a lot of them went away to school and came back with this great education.
So what's the future of the Female Farmer Project?
Well, we're looking to take this, I take the stories to stage and bring them to life on stage, but we're also looking to take it to video and really document the women that way as well.
What do you want people to know about the female farmers of Washington?
They are what I describe as grit and grace. Women farmers really have a lot of grit. And they bring a lot of grace to what they do as well. And it's a really beautiful thing to see for me. And that's what I try to portray through my images without putting any sort of shine on it. I want people to see the true beauty of what they're doing and how they're bringing important change to the food system.
Awesome. I love it. It sounds so fun.
Every day I wake up and have to pinch myself that I get to do this, that these women trust me with their stories.
So cool.
Hey, let's go. One of my favorite things about cooking is how creativity can take a classic ingredient like the green bean and transform it into something totally unexpected. Well, that's exactly what my friends here at the Farmer's Daughter food truck here in Spokane have done. They've turned that green bean into hummus. But does it live up to that classic taste? Let's find out. The Farmer's Daughter food truck takes farm fresh breakfast foods to the next level. Owner Jillian Gay is actually a daughter of a farmer, and her father's farm is the main source for the truck's all-natural meat and eggs. It's about as farm to truck as you can get. So let's take their fresh green bean hummus and see what people think. So do you guys enjoy green beans?
I love them.
What are some of your favorite ways to prepare them?
I like to steam them. I saute them.
Okay.
A little bit of basil.
Nice.
Canned green beans aren't the same, are they?
No.
Okay, so I like them fresh.
There you go, very cool. Well, I'm glad you said fresh. Have you ever had green beans mixed into a hummus before?
Never.
Well, I've got just the thing for you. Here's a little green bean hummus, a little creme fraiche, a little parsley, put on a toasted English muffin. So why don't you guys give that a try and tell me what you think?
Right. Let's see. You don't usually hear green bean hummus.
No, you don't. That's what's so cool about it.
Really nice combo. You taste the green beans.
It's like a blast of freshness of green. Hummus, but like with a little touch of something. I don't know.
Can you taste those green beans in there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's an hors d'oeuvre. I'd love something like that.
Have one more.
By all means. You know what? I'll enjoy one with you. There we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To green beans.
From fields large and small, urban to rural, and everything in between, Washington farmers produce some of the best food around. That's it for this episode of Washington Grown. Thanks for watching.